Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. On Common Ground, we bring different sides together to talk about things they're working on. You are working on and have been working on the Select Committee on the Modernization of Congress. Congressman Timmons, this seems like a place that Republicans and Democrats could get to common ground pretty easy.
We have, and we've been working hard for 4 years. We've passed 202 recommendations. Our committee is unique. It has 6 Republicans, 6 Democrats, and we have to have 2/3 members in agreement to make a recommendation. And we've been working hard for 4 years, and we're going to continue implementation in the next Congress.
Congressman Kilmer, the bullet points here for this committee, civility and collaboration. Using technology and innovation, saving taxpayers money, moving forward together. You're saying you have 200 recommendations that fall under those categories?
We do. The committee was established with a pretty simple goal, but an important goal of making Congress work better for the American people. There's no silver bullet to that. It's more like silver buckshot. There's a bunch of stuff you've got to do. And so we looked at how can Congress be a place that's better at recruiting and retaining good staff that's capable of helping the institution solve problems, how Congress as an institution can use technology better. Congress has been described as an 18th century institution using 20th century technology to solve 21st century problems. That's something that we're working to try to fix. We're conscious of the fact that there's so much conflict in the institution that it makes civility and collaboration difficult. And so about a dozen of the recommendations that we've made have been in service of just trying to make the institution one that's more focused on progress and less on partisan bickering.
Congressman Timmons, Roll Call wrote it this way. They say about these recommendations, elsewhere on the Hill, tempers flared, lawmakers traded blame over how much legislating was left to do before the end of the year. But for the Select Committee on the Modernization of Congress, the word of the day was civility. We are trying to get there, too, on this segment once a week, trying to bring people together and talk about what they're working on. But for some, listening to that is pie in the sky if they think about how split our country is. How do you talk to somebody about Congress and what you're working on?
We've shown that we can work together. Derek Kilmer and I have become friends. We've spent 4 years working on making Congress more effective, efficient, and transparent for the American people, and we've gotten results. And if we can do it, other committees can do it, and Congress can do it. The American people deserve results, and we have to work together to get those.
You're talking serious money here, Congressman Kilmer?
There's the potential to save substantial money. In fact, just in the defense bill, William and I led the charge coming out of the work of our committee on a bill called the Improving Government for American Taxpayers Act. We had the head of the Government Accountability Office testify in front of our committee, and he said, we make a lot of recommendations to make the federal government more efficient, and oftentimes it sort of falls on deaf ears. And he said there are some structural things you could do to sort of force action. And we literally just took his ideas, put it into legislation, and it is on its way to becoming law. There was an article, you mentioned Roll Call had an article saying it's expected to save literally tens of billions of dollars, just that one piece of legislation. And to William's point, part of what we've done on this committee is not just put forward bipartisan recommendations, but function in a more bipartisan way. If you want things to work differently in Congress, you have to do things differently in Congress. So if you watch one of our hearings on C-SPAN, you probably have too much time on your hands. But if you do, you'll notice a few things. We don't sit with Democrats on one side and Republicans on the other. We stagger our seating so that when you hear a witness say something interesting, you lean over to the person next to you, and it just so happens to be someone from the other party. We don't even sit around on a dais. We sit around a round table. Why? Well, I don't know about you. I've never had a good conversation speaking to the back of somebody's head. And we have one staff. We, to Vice Chair Timmons' credit and his predecessor's credit, Tom Graves, we made a decision up front. We weren't going to hire some people who put on blue jerseys and some people who put on red jerseys. We hired one staff with a simple goal of trying to make Congress work better for the American people. And so what we've tried to do is model how things could work in Congress simply by actively trying to work together to solve problems.
Obviously, you're both passionate about this to try to get to solutions. You both work on other things you're passionate about as far as legislating. But Congressman Timmons, you have these 200-plus recommendations. The Select Committee comes to an end at the end of this Congress. And then what? You pass it on and kind of hope that they're taken seriously?
Well, we're working with Speaker-elect McCarthy to try to make sure that the House Administration Committee has a select subcommittee subcommittee for modernization of Congress, where we will continue the implementation efforts. I'm hopeful to be a part of that endeavor, and we have a lot of work left to do, and I'm committed to it. I know Chair Kilmer is as well.
And your thoughts, Congressman Kilmer?
I think it's really important. You know, our goal as a committee was not just to make recommendations, it was to make change. I'm conscious that I'm part of an institution that, according to recent polling, is less popular than headlights, colonoscopies, and the rock band Nickelback. And you've got a pretty good sense of why. There's a feeling that Congress too often is punching below its weight. And so our committee has been unique in that not only have we made recommendations, we've been focusing on implementing them in real time. In fact, about 2/3 of the recommendations that we've made have either been implemented or are in the process of being implemented. And the work of this select subcommittee in the next Congress, I think, is going to be really critical to making sure more of these proposed reforms make it across the finish line, so that you have an institution that functions better, that you save money for American taxpayers, and that you have an institution that's more efficient and effective.
There's a mystique around how Congress works or doesn't work in the American people, you know, behind the scenes, how it all gets done, how the sausage is made. Congressman Timmons, you mentioned Speaker-elect McCarthy. You're confident that that's on the way?
Absolutely. McCarthy's going to get across the finish line, and I look forward to really getting to work in the 118th Congress. We got a lot of important things that we need to tackle for the American people, and they're long overdue, and I'm hopeful that we can really make some meaningful impact.
Well, we're thankful for this civil conversation. We look forward to following it. It's not something we follow every day, but modernization of Congress sounds pretty good to us on Common Ground. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.